In the grand narrative of history, the story of the British Empire often highlights its vast expanse and the exchange of cultures, goods and ideas across continents. However, tucked away in the shadows of this narrative are events shrouded in atrocity, events that challenge the rose-tinted perception of colonialism. Today, let's uncover 7 lesser-known British colonial atrocities that have cast long shadows in history. First, let's journey to Tasmania in the early 19th century. The Black War, as it's known, was a series of conflicts between British settlers and the indigenous Tasmanians. This conflict led to the near extinction of the native population as British forces employed brutal tactics and forcibly removed people from their lands, fundamentally altering the cultural and demographic landscape of the island. Next, we turn to India, home to the Rajah's mightiest jewel. The Moplah Rebellion of 1921 saw the British crack down on a Muslim uprising in the Malabar region. Though it's widely seen as a fight for independence, the British response was swift and ruthless, resulting in mass deportations and severe human rights violations, leaving a dark legacy that echoes in the annals of Indian history. Traveling to Africa, the Mau Mau Uprising in Kenya between 1952 and 1960 brings us to another poignant chapter. The British forces employed draconian measures, including unlawful detentions and systematic torture to suppress the rebellion. Thousands of Kenyans perished, their cries for freedom stifled in what was one of the most brutal episodes of colonial suppression. Our journey continues in Malaya, now Malaysia, during the Malayan Emergency. This conflict from 1980 to 1960 saw British forces and local troops combat communist insurgents. In the process, they implemented a strategy of new villages, forcibly relocating large swaths of the rural population, which caused widespread suffering and disruption to the traditional way of life. In the Mediterranean, Cyprus experienced its share of turmoil in the 1950s. The EOKA movement sought independence from British rule. In response, the British authorities introduced oppressive measures, including torture, to dismantle the resistance. These acts have left deep scars in the Cypriot collective memory. Let's not forget the events in the West Indies. In 1865, the Morant Bay Rebellion in Jamaica sought justice and equality for former slaves against oppressive colonial injustices. The British response, known as the Morant Bay Massacre, involved martial law, mass executions, and widespread brutality, effectively quelling dissent through fear and force. Finally, we arrive in Ireland during the Great Famine of the mid-19th century. Although not an orchestrated atrocity, the British government's laissez-faire policies and inadequate response exacerbated the famine's effects, leading to over 1 million deaths and mass emigration, altering Ireland's demographic and socio-political landscape forever. These events, though often overshadowed by the larger tales of empire, are crucial to understanding the full impact of colonialism. They remind us of the darker chapters of history that have shaped nations and peoples in profound ways. As we look back, it is essential to recognize these atrocities, ensuring they remain in our collective memory to inform a more equitable future.